Enough respect, we network across the globe, cause it's a global market in case you didn't know. And since we all about information flow, let me be the first one to welcome you to Tech Zone with Paul Amadeus Lane. Let's talk tech, cause technology changing the game. It's all good in the hood, it's everywhere. Now let's get to the show, cause we live on air, yeah.
Welcome back to our third and final segment of the Tech Zone. Again, we'd like to thank Ryan McManus for joining us from Defender 24/7, talking about that innovation of that device, how it can save many lives out there, I believe, in my opinion. Let's shift focus a little bit. Parents, organization. You need help with that? Well, look no further. You parents out there, I know when it comes to being organized with your children back in school, you want some help out there. I mean, the kids got to get to ball practice. You got to get to the PTA meetings. Oh, and don't forget, you have to send that consent form so your kid can go on the field trips. Don't you want some help so your kids won't be mad at you because you forgot to do things? If you want some help, check this out. I'm sure you guys are really going to appreciate this video right here that I came across. And let me know what you think.
One of the best parts of being a parent is watching our kids play, learn, and grow. But whether it's a soccer team, a school class, a scout troop, or any other group activity, there are always a lot of details to manage, both within your own family and with other parents. And keeping up with it all is time-consuming and stressful. PodKeeper makes it easy. PodKeeper is a free website that helps keep you organized. Just set up an online group, or a pod as we call it, for each of your groups. PodKeeper helps you manage all your roles in life, such as coach, room parent, troop leader, and more. For your role as mom or dad, create a separate pod for your family. PodKeeper has all the features you need to keep yourself and your groups organized, and it's so easy to use. You will quickly wonder how you ever lived without PodKeeper. PodKeeper can be accessed easily from your computer, tablet, or mobile phone. And it works with the email program and online calendar you already use. There's no excuse for being the parent that drives to the wrong location, shows up an hour late, or forgets the team snacks. It takes just 1 minute to sign up for PodKeeper, and it's completely free. Join right now and keep organized like never before.
And joining me right now are the co-founders of this great piece of innovation. We have Nikki and Steven Sachs joining me. How are you both doing today?
Doing great, Paul. Nice to be here.
Good to be here, Paul.
Nice to have you with me. Now, we can't forget the snacks, so we got to make sure that we're organized. So how did you guys come up with this innovation?
So it really started when our oldest son was in preschool, and they were planning a little class party, and the flurry of emails that went back and forth for this one class party was overwhelming. And I fast forwarded my life a few years with more than one child, and a child who's not just in preschool, but in school and after school activities, sports, all that kind of stuff. And I couldn't imagine how I'd keep up with everything that was going on. So we started doing a little research, seeing if other people felt this way also, or was just my disorganized self that was feeling this, seeing what else was out there that offered a solution to this. And what we found is most of these groups were still using group emails to keep organized. And email's a great tool for one-on-one communication or for one-way communication, but for keeping groups organized, it's just not an efficient way of doing it. So at that point, we started looking into how we could fix this problem, and that was the impetus of PodKeeper.
And being a husband and wife team, no doubt this helps out in this in the company. And what are some things that Steven, as a father, that you've noticed when it comes to trying to keep things organized? Because sometimes it falls on moms to do things, but how, as a father, has this helped you out as well?
Sure. So it's interesting. Sometimes people think that it is just the mom who's running the show, but dads are very involved too, especially when it's just knowing some basic information like picking up the kids on the way home to work. So having all that in a calendar on PodKeeper and the ability to actually sync it with your own calendar, whether it's Google, iCal, Yahoo, or Outlook, is something that's really powerful. And then just to be able to do it for other activities where you may be the coach of your son or daughter's soccer team is just a powerful tool. And so it's great for dads as well.
And I like what it says, how more than 1 in 3 parents have made this major mistake. What has been the feedback with parents now? Parents said, thank you guys. You've cut down the drama in the family. Has that been the case?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just a matter of keeping everyone on the same page. Parents live life on a hamster wheel trying to keep all balls up in the air. Let's see how many cliches I can throw in one sentence. And it's stressful, and just keeping on top of all of the information. So taking that one piece of stress out of the equation is what we're really trying to do. I'm a parent. Most parents just really want their kids to be happy and involved, and giving them a tool to let parents focus on enjoying the involvement rather than the stress around the organizing is one of the key things we're trying to achieve with PodKeeper. As part of that same survey that you referenced, 2/3 of people said that they would volunteer to lead a kids group, one of their children's groups, if it weren't so stressful. They're all worried about how much time and energy it takes to keep the communication going, to keep all the members up to date. And if we can help make that easier, then we've succeeded here.
And I think you guys are spot on when it comes to this. And Nikki, when it comes to your background and the experience that you've had in the professional world, has this helped you out with a tech startup company? Because you have a vast amount of experience when it comes to investor relations, advertising clients, advising clients on all aspects of financial communications. Were you able to use some of that experience to help out with this company?
Absolutely. I mean, you talk to a lot of startup founders. We wear every possible hat. I've done corporate strategy, I've done finance, I've done communication, and just being able to pick up and learn quickly and run with it, I think is one of the greatest needs, skill sets for a startup founder. And I think that's where my broad background has come in the most helpful.
And Stephen, same question to you too, being an expert in online marketing and product expert for over 25 years. Did your experience help you in your role in the startup company as well?
Oh, absolutely. And I think a lot of it stems from just the voice of the customer. So I've, for other companies, built products where people have a need for something, and it's figuring out how do you deliver that in a technology platform that is both powerful and very user-friendly. So that's what we've done. And over the last couple of years, as we built out our product, we partner with our customers and we say, okay, how is this feature? How is this helping you? And we adjust and we've made improvements. So it continues to get better, and there's a lot more ahead for PodKeeper.
And take us to where you both thought about having this as a startup company to where we're at today. Those discussions, who was the first person who brought this up and say, hey, this is something that needs to be out there to help parents like us, to make sure that we don't miss some of these important things in our children's life when it comes to school. Take us through that discussion.
Sure.
It depends who you ask.
All right, Steve. Yes.
No, I would reference the story I just told about our child's class party, and that was really my aha moment. I think we've both been thinking about what else we can do. We've always had an entrepreneurial bug in us and trying to figure out the right step to take to act on that. We didn't want to do it for just anything, but for a project that we're really passionate about, that we think can be hugely successful, both in terms of a company and in terms of helping people. So that's where I think it began. Stephen can now tell you where he thinks it began.
Come on, Stephen.
It's really the same place. It's just a matter of once we sort of had the idea and it said, wow, we think that there's something really powerful here that parents will want. And then we just had to validate it in the marketplace by talking to lots and lots of people and talking about the nuances of a problem. And then we knew we had something. And then it was just a matter of figuring out the timing of, okay, this is going to be our full-time gig and we're going to make this happen.
And whenever I talk to many people in startup companies, that's the one dynamic that I see is that there was a need that wasn't being filled. And ones like yourselves who have that innovative bug, who wants to change things and to help ones out, get involved, make it happen. And that's why we can sense the passion behind our discussion, because you guys are really passionate about this, and you guys are not only did it help your life out, but it's helping other ones out there too. Do you notice that too when it comes to ones and startup companies, that passion that they have, like yourselves?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the amount of time and energy, financial sacrifice, family sacrifice, everything that goes into building a company, if you're not passionate about it, you're going to hate your life. So I don't know any other way to do it unless you truly are passionate about what you're doing.
Yeah, and the difference is that when you have days that are not the best days in the world, at least you know that you're doing something that you believe in and can be sustainable over time. So it makes it not as bad as other bad days that I've had before.
Hey, you know what, Stephen, I'm glad that you said that, because sometimes when we take on different, let's say, projects or different companies that we're involved in, whenever we have a bad day, we want to fold up the tents, go home, and say, okay, this was a bad idea. How do you deal with that sometimes, even if you guys have, like you talked about, the good that you guys are doing outweighs the negative feelings that you guys may go through. But if there's any sustained, feeling like, wow, did we make the right decision? Who kind of lifts who up? You guys as a team together and say, hey, we're in this together. We're going to make it happen. We're starting to see success. Let's stay the course and let's make it happen. How do you guys deal with any sustained kind of negative thinking?
Yeah, so the first part really is, I think it's important before you go into it to understand there are going to be bumps in the road and that you will overcome them. And having that mentality, I think, is helpful. And then I think there is the aspect of personality. So, hopefully you have two co-founders like we do that balance each other out. So I'm sort of the steady one, and Nikki some days will be a little bit more happy or unhappy, but it levels out and it works out over time.
And Nikki, when it comes to working with your husband, because I know sometimes my wife and I, we work together in the media together, and sometimes it's hard for us to turn off the work relationship and now to the husband and wife relationship. Do you guys sometimes have to go through that?
Finding time to carve out for each specific niche, call it, is challenging. So we kind of let it blend through. There are times we'll go out to dinner and just say, this is us, nothing else. But it makes it more practical to just let things kind of flow through whatever. On the soccer field, watching our kids play soccer, an idea comes to us because we see the way people are interacting. We can bring it up right then and there. We don't have to wait, make a note and go home and call another co-founder.
Awesome.
Yeah. It actually flows a lot more smoothly than you would think it does.
That's great to hear. And if the technology that exists today was not here, would it make something like PodKeeper difficult to achieve? Because sometimes technology gets a bad rap. But if this technology did not exist, how would parents be able to keep up with all this?
Yeah, so today people really still are using group email lists as their basic communication tool, because emails, they've been using it for years. That's really what it is. And part of the sort of aha moment that parents have is once they just hear about PodKeeper, they don't even think that something like this is even available to them. So that's something that we really enjoy hearing about when we talk to people.
I mean, just think, but technology in general, if it didn't exist, think back to paper calendars, flyers that were sent out, phone trees. That's what people would be doing. So this truly does make life easier. And the smartphone technology, being able to have it with you all the time, it changes the game here. With PodKeeper specifically, our ultimate goal really is for our vision, call it, is for parents to have a pod, which is what we call our online groups, for each group in their life. So you have one for each of your child's activities, their classroom, their scout team, their scout troop, their soccer team, etc. You can even have it for your own activities. I'm in a supper club, so I have a pod for that. For our neighborhood, we have one. And then you have easily access all the important information from each of these pods, just flipping back and forth in one central location.
Awesome. That really sounds like something that I need to get as well too. And the cool thing about, yeah, that's true. That's true. Because I was looking at the YouTube and I was like, there are so many things that ones can use this for who are not parents. And Stephen was so gracious to send us a product video that we are going to check out now. So enjoy this video.
PodKeeper is an online organizer for busy parents. We're going to do a brief demo. You go to podkeeper.com from any device. You'll land on our homepage. Here is a brief video that you can see for more information, and then you click sign up. And here you can sign up, and PodKeeper is completely free. You can log in with Facebook or directly on the site. And then once you do, you create an online group called a pod. And here's an example of a second grade class pod. You have 3 current events. Along the right side over here is the current RSVP for that person. And then you click in for more details. So you see the details further down on the screen. You can view how other people have RSVP'd, and then you can save to web calendar. So you can save to Google, iCal, Outlook, or Yahoo. Then you create discussions. So here are a bunch of discussions to keep different topics straight. Let's click into homework help. And here someone can ask for help, and the teacher or another parent can respond right here in the comments section. There's also sign up lists, and then there's files. So here you can create different files that you can add, such as a permission slip or web links. So go check out podkeeper.com.
Wasn't that an awesome video right there that we've just watched? And Stephen, thank you so much for navigating us through how easy this could be. And when did you guys perfect this to get it to where it is today, to say, okay, now we're ready to put this out on the market so ones can use it? When did you guys get there?
So last September is when we sort of had our launch and really tried to push this out there. And we've had tremendous response, and people have liked it. And we continue to iterate the product. I mean, as people start using it more and more, they say, oh, well, can I eliminate this step, or can I do this? There's all different use cases that people have, and it's up to us to realize them and then say, okay, is this something that other people want to use? So we talk to other people, and then when it's something that we know people want, we build upon it. So we're continuously making improvements.
And I really love the website right here. And take us through the website and what ones can check out on the website.
Sure. So right up front, we're trying to create the message that it's for group organization and for your family. It's sort of those two aspects of both. And some of the ideas they can use it for, and that it's usable on different devices, desktop, iPad, phones. And then as you scroll down, it just gives you a better sense of the benefits and some of the things that it's used for. And then we have that video that you played. And then really we want people to just sign up. It's completely free, and jump in and start using it, both with your significant other and your family, and with other groups in your life.
And have you all been technology fans over the years, or is this something that when it comes to the startup company, you were like, hey, this is something we need to get into, or you guys always been into tech?
So for me, I've always been with tech from early on.
And I've used it quite extensively. I haven't worked within tech prior to this, but as a user of technology, I take advantage of what's out there to help make our lives easier, for fun, for efficiency, for productivity, whatever it be.
And awesome, and looking at both of your bios, I can tell you all have fun with your children. And one thing that really kind of cracked me up, Nikki, was that how your kids, they like to play a game with you, and they want you to name like second string linemen in the NFL. Is that right?
So I have 2 young boys who are huge sports fans. I peripherally know professional sports. I'm being forced into it. And yes, they study stats, they study teams, they study players, and quiz me on different things. And I'm terrible at it, but getting better.
They like to see if they can beat mom, and they often do.
And Stephen, they have a lot of fun with you because you're a soccer dad. I read your bio, so you must have a lot of fun being out there with your kids and spending time with them.
Yeah, I mean, that's really what it's all about, spending quality time with your kids, and whether it's, soccer team or other things, and there's just these logistics to deal with. So, we try to get people to acknowledge both, that you need to take care of the details so you don't ruin the experience for the kids, like Nikki said, about leaving them at the soccer field or showing up at the wrong location. And, if my kid says, we don't have snack today because someone didn't bring, I look at the look in their eyes and that makes me sad. So now we know that we can overcome that with PodKeeper.
And we see we're living in definitely changing times now. I remember when I was in school many moons ago, you had one parent working, one parent maybe worked part-time. But now we see the way that the world is now, both parents in the workforce, people are more busier now. And I think this innovation right here is going to help solve a lot of problems, make sure that the snacks are being, had, and then just getting kids there. And what has been some of the feedback that you guys have gotten personally when ones know that you guys are involved in this innovation? They're like, Nikki, Steven, thank you. Is that what kind of feedback you guys get?
Yeah, we're very open to customer feedback, both as Steven had talked about before, as far as continuing to iterate on the product. But we get a lot of feedback from customers, and our favorite emails are those are, I love PodKeeper. It's helped my group stay a lot more organized. It's kept our family on top of everything, whatever it be. But those praising emails, it's a little surprising to me, to be honest, how frequently we get them and how people take time out of their busy lives to say thank you. And it's really gratifying to get those kinds of emails.
Yeah, the story that I like to share is that, we are building this to help people and for it to become a habit for them. So there was a group that they were using a pod for a certain activity. And then for the next few months later, the group leader wasn't using PodKeeper and things just were a mess. So it's sort of the type of thing when you realize how good you have it, you don't want to go away from it for the next time.
Thank you guys so much for joining me on the Tech Zone. And before we let you go, is there anything else that we didn't bring out during the interview there that you would like ones to know out there?
I'd say just PodKeeper is completely free and easy to use, so check it out. And, like we touched on briefly, besides parents, it's good for other things. People use it for if you're in a committee for a nonprofit. If you just have any small group that you need to get together, it takes really less than a minute to sign up, and it's so easy to use. So that would be the takeaway message for me.
Awesome. And Nikki?
I would actually add something slightly different. We've also recently started a video series that if anyone is interested in seeing, we have a new PodKeeper kid who is on a mission, and he just completed his first mission. If you go to YouTube to the PodKeeper channel, you will find him, and he's looking for his next mission. So if anyone has ideas, email him at podkeeperkid@podkeeper.com. Is that correct?
Email him at kid@podkeeper.com.
No problem. Awesome. See, teamwork right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and how can ones get a hold of this innovation? Download it. How can they do it?
Just go to podkeeper.com from any device, and you can actually save to a home screen from a mobile phone, one-touch access.
Awesome. Thank you both so much for joining me. It's been an honor talking to you both. And to continue the success, we love to have you on towards the middle of the school year that we could talk about more, some of the things that are going on, and any expansions that you guys have too. You guys are more than welcome to come back and share with us what's going on.
Thank you for having us. This was fun.
Yeah, this was fun, Paul. Thank you.
Definitely been a fast-moving show, hasn't it, Sean? Great guest, Ryan McManus from Get the Defender. I'm sorry, that's the website, Get the Defender. But Defender 24/7, great piece of innovation, great startup company. And Nikki and Steven Sachs for joining us, helping parents and ones who are taking care of children and ones who have group organizing to do, whether if you're in business or not. That great piece of innovation, PodKeeper. Give them a check out. If you missed anything in the interviews, make sure you check out the podcast, the video podcast on YouTube. And thank you guys so much for joining me. Next week, I'm chasing a very, very special guest, an Emmy award-winning journalist, and how the new crime show that he's involved in, how they're using technology to help solve crime and bring folks to justice. So you don't want to miss that. Well, I'm off to the Tech Summit in Silicon Valley. So follow me on Facebook and Twitter. I'll be tweeting, having fun in Silicon Valley. I'll be part of a panel that I'm moderating at the Black Enterprise Tech Connects Summit. So if you're out there, come out there and join us. out in Silicon Valley. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter for all info on how you can check it out. Until next time, take care of yourself and always love those who are unable to love themselves. And let's keep our thoughts and prayers those who've been affected by this weather out there. Until next time, take care.
Take a little trip with me and hopefully you can see how to